Yes, welcome to episode 19 of the Phish Tank podcast. This is brought to you by your hosts, Fish, Twobold, and Louie. I specifically have been up for 24 hours at this point. This hour marks the 24-hour mark, but I'm still going strong. Why have I been up for 24 hours? I'm fixing my sleep schedule. I hate it.
We only choose the most inefficient ways to sleep schedule fix, I think.
What's the better way to fix it?
The better way to fix it? I don't know. Not doing it by staying up for 24 hours, I imagine. Just going to bed early.
I feel like that's the only way to do it.
I know that for a fact when I get in bed, and I know that I've been only up for maybe like 5-6 hours, I will never fall asleep. No matter how
like
much
an
I
eye
put my
to you?
head.
What is that thing? Is that on my monitor? That's on my monitor. Okay, never mind. I was saying, holy shit.
He's getting scared. He's getting scared of his kitchen that doesn't have the lights on.
Dude, it genuinely scared me for a second. There's like a fleck of something that was stuck directly like here. And it just looked like an eyeball. I was like, what the? I don't remember setting up that gag.
Every time I've had a bad sleep schedule and I want to fix it, the only way to do it is to just stay up until I'm supposed to go to bed, like at 11 p.m. or something.
Yeah, and at this rate,
perpetually broken.
At this rate, this episode's usually last around an hour 15. It'll be 7:45. Then I'll like do some rendering, quick thumbnail,
Editing.
get in bed by 9, maybe. Hopefully not 10. It's a little too late for how much I'm probably
10 is
gonna end
good.
up sleeping. Yeah, but then I wanna get up a little early. Attack the day, be up
Really?
before the sun is. Yeah, it does feel
Are you
great.
gonna try working out and stuff?
No, no.
No, don't be an idiot. Why would I do that? I'm on
No,
Russell, and the gym ain't gonna help me with the hustle. You feel me?
I mean, now that
hustle and
now that
bustle.
Twobold is thinking about moving to California, we would become gym bros, gym buddies.
True.
It's gonna be great.
I would have to show Fish I can do infinitely more push-ups than he can.
Well, that's just not true.
Okay, Fish.
Infinite
Your
sum.
nose would get in the way. Every time you go past the bar, you just start bonking it. I know if I just have to wait until the pain
Push-ups on
overwhelms
a
you, then I'll be
bar.
good. Or pull-ups. Did I say push-ups? I meant pull-ups.
Oh, pull-ups. Oh no, I have more control of my body than anybody else in the world, so I would be able to do more.
Some monk that's currently balancing on the top of a mountain on one leg on a metal pole is just shuddering right now. He doesn't know why.
Are monks really like that?
I think so.
Sometimes. Is there like
I saw
is that just like a movie shit?
I saw a YouTube video of some dude that was just like, hey, I'm gonna train with this actual like Tibetan monk or something like that. See if I can go through their schedule. And it's just him punching a bucket of sand and like carrying it around and then having to do horse stance a whole shit ton. Which is just when you're like, yeah, it's like when your legs are just like out to the sides and you have your arms like this and then you just kind of like squatting. You're holding a squat basically. And then you have to balance like teacups on your arms or whatever to make sure you stay in like the perfect form. And then the guy just kind of comes over to you and just stares at you. And then if anything spills, he like makes you do it all over again. And you have to go back to punching the bucket of sand.
Jesus.
Which is apparently a thing. And that's one way to like improve your fist strength is by punching sand, I guess.
I've always thought about doing that. There's like a year-long program that you can just pay for with this like this monk thing that they brew beer and you would just learn what they do and then hang out with them for a year and then you just go back home. Sounds
Where
like
is it?
I don't remember.
Some deep
Probably
part
in
of the
Belgium.
mountains. Belgian monks? Never heard of them. It's Tibet or bust.
Only Tibet monks.
Louis,
Those are the
earlier
only
you said
monks.
that it wouldn't be a big deal to move across the country and just start a whole new life in a completely different part of the world.
Uh-huh.
You still believe that?
100%.
What would you do?
I would just do it.
I think the hardest part is like getting your stuff there. Everything else is
Yeah.
like cake. Like I have a car. I don't want to drive my car to California. I wouldn't make it.
Like
I would
it would
end up in a ditch.
I would take a trip, get an Airbnb or something, find a place to live, come back, figure out how I'm going to move everything, probably like hire some movers, then move in. And then that would be it. How did
have
you
your
move
own
over
place?
here? Yeah.
So you'd live alone. Remember
Maybe
last
not.
time you said maybe not. What do you mean?
The only thing I would like if I was thinking about moving to a fucking across the country where I'm not going to work, so that's like I would be going to retire. So hopefully I would be married or have kids. And I would just go to like Scotland with my
Well, that's
wife.
a little different.
Yeah, what is anywhere in the world have that I don't have here? They have everything less.
Besides Scottish accents, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, language barriers. in
The
certain
music scene
places.
is here. The world's music is American
Trying to
music.
talk to a Scotsman is very difficult. They speak almost the same language as us, but things are a little different. They're always a little angrier than you think they are, but also way calmer than you expect. It's very disconcerting. I tried having a conversation with a Scotsman I met in one of my games. I asked him how he was doing, and he said words to me that I knew individually, but when put together, it was indecipherable. And it was as if I had never understood the English language before. And I was just like, what did you say to me? He's like, oh, I forgot. You're not Scottish. Basically, you should kind of just keep going straight and you'll be good. And I'll cover you. And I'm like, okay, thanks, man. I couldn't remember for the life of me
Did
what
his
he told
plan
me, but I
work?
just know. Oh, yeah, it was fine. He was a great sniper. I expected him to have like a what?
You're moving here at such a good time. Jagger's moving here around the same time, I think. Or when do you plan on moving here? Or moving in general?
Whenever I find, or whenever the other people I'm moving in with find the house.
Yeah.
It's perfectly timed because what is it? The two roommates that we'd be having, Ray and Tom, are looking to search for new houses or whatever we find around August, September, which is when my lease would be up.
Damn, you've already
you
almost
go.
been here for a year.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay, so I came here. It was October 6th that I arrived.
That's
And then
crazy.
But I'd say I was really living here at the end of November because I took multiple trips because of wedding stuff.
Yeah,
and
the weddings, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
so
still
yeah.
crazy though. It's almost
Half
been a
a year.
year.
Only a year ago was when I was visiting you, Louis, and Tubald was there too. When we
Yeah, the first time we met.
stayed at your house. Yeah.
First night we met, I'll never remember.
It was so good. Such a funny night.
One whole bottle of bourbon later, impossible to recall what the hell happened.
Yeah, it was impressive. You guys killed that.
No matter how much he tries, Fish can't get into whiskey.
It's
Yeah,
true.
it's not for everyone.
He wants to.
I mean,
he
he'll
wants to
just-
so bad.
Go out of my way.
It's such a manly drink. I love the fire as it burns down the back of my throat. And then you find a
Ruben-
really good whiskey, and it's so smooth, and then it starts burning.
Ruben brought home some real Scotch, like from Scotland. Very exciting.
Oh, nice.
Oh shit.
A certain Scotsman spit into it to make sure it was real.
Yeah.
That's how you know it's a real Scottish whiskey or Scotch, whatever.
So have either
I don't
of
be
you
honest with you,
heard
I don't know the
anything-
finer points of alcohol, like at all.
You know,
Not even a little bit.
they're just.
I just
the
know
more
that the more
expensive, generally, the
expensive-
better.
The more expensive it is, the like whiskey, the more initially it doesn't burn as it goes down, and then it burns. And that's basically what you're paying for with whiskey, is like how long it takes before it starts burning, which is always fun because you'll take a sip and you'll be like, "Wow, that's really hot." Like it's the further you get into that sentence, the better the whiskey is, allegedly.
Have any of you guys heard anything about the Amber Heard, whatever Johnny Depp case? All I've seen is
No.
memes everywhere.
Yeah, it's just I know nothing other than Amber Heard keeps shitting on his bed or something. He just rampant thing where he's just constantly shitting on his bed.
I heard her say something about like my dog had depression or something like that. What was it?
Nice.
She was like, my dog had depression, and then the other lawyer was like, relevance. It's fucking
No, literally.
crazy.
It was like
it's taken.
their therapist was talking about 100% being on Johnny Depp's side. And
Yeah.
just heaving up against Amber Heard, and then there was other
Isn't
times.
that bad though? Can therapists do that?
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that or that side of it. Yeah, everything you say is supposed to be private, unless it's like,
it is court.
I think
Unless
it's everything needs
court-ordered?
to be private unless it's talking about somebody, you hurting yourself or somebody else. I think that's what it is. So in this case, I guess
or court ordered, right? or court ordered.
I don't know if that part is involved, but I definitely know the hurting
maybe the
part.
comment
Are
section
you
can
telling
help
me the
us on YouTube.
courts can, for some reason, force their way into my mental health? That sounds
Yeah.
like an overreach of government. That's what that sounds like.
What's the point you're trying to make?
You know what? I just don't like that the government can just access my health records. I feel like I should be able to
You don't want them to know
plot
that you're
with my
depressed?
therapist the whole time. I especially don't want them knowing I'm depressed.
Bro,
that means
I
I'm
would-
manipulatable.
I would 100%
Malleable.
rub the information about me being full-time YouTuber, just living in my own house, just rub all that shit in my therapist's face. He did not believe in me whatsoever. I went to therapy.
Really?
Because no, not at all. I had
Your therapist didn't believe in you? What the fuck? Wait.
Well, it was 100%. It was 100% my mom who was being like, "You need to go to therapy because now you're taking medication." But okay, I understand that part. But it was her that was saying that would talk to him and be all like, "He's doing horribly in school because he's putting all of his time into just video games," and she didn't understand that some of it was towards YouTube in the sense that I would be, growing my audience and all that. And so while I would be in the middle of talks with him specifically, he would sometimes take the point that I should drop all that. I should put away
Really?
all the whole YouTube dream.
That's a
and
bad
Twitch dream.
therapist.
I mean, the thing is, I would try to go out of my way to show him little amounts of growth, but I think he didn't understand it to the point where he could be on my side. That's what I kind of told myself. Because, what is it? This was
possible.
before I went to college, so at the time I must have had maybe 60,000 subscribers. But I was growing from Team
That's
Fortress 2.
fucking still awesome, though.
Yeah, but
What?
I don't think he understood that because I think I'm trying to remember if I did end up telling him like how much I specifically made per month. I don't think he like forced that out of me. I think I willingly told him that or wanted to tell him.
Yeah, to shut
so
him
we'd just
up.
be talking about that. But yeah, now I could 100% be like, I know for a
I'm
fact there was
surprised
one
your
moment where I
parents
told
went
him
the whole therapist route when they thought you were having too much video game time. My
Well,
dad
no,
walked
it
into
was-
my room and said, "I will rip that out of the wall if you don't go outside." I'm like, "Okay."
Oh yeah.
Fair
Don't
enough.
Get me wrong. My fucking mom took the Xbox wires when she was out of the house so that I couldn't play on it or whatever. And then I remember I found a replacement for it, and she was furious when she found out. I think it's what she did is that I heard her coming up the from the lobby through the buzzer or something, and then I turned off the Xbox. I took out the wire and I hit it, and then she did the most try-hard thing. She went up to the Xbox and she put her hand on it, and she was like, "Philippe, why is the Xbox warm?" And I'm like, "Oh no." She totally knows that I found an extra wire and was able to play on it.
That's so smart. The first time my parents ever tried to take away a PlayStation from me, they took the part that plugs into the wall, but I could just find like another like plug that did that, and I plugged it in, and I guess my mom figured that out at one point, but she didn't let on that she knew. So the next time that it happened, she was just like, "Okay, so he's just going to keep finding cables for it, and I can't take away all of them, otherwise I wouldn't have any appliances to plug in." So what she did is she just took all the batteries in the house out of the remotes and then just left for the day. And then when she came back home, she only put batteries in the one remote she was using, and then she would take those batteries as well. And
Oh,
I'm
so
like,
you couldn't use controller?
yeah, I couldn't use any controllers to access them. If everything else was plugged in, I could only just stare at it like, I can't finagle my way around this one.
My parents were never really. I don't know. They said like, "Hey, you're playing too many video games." I don't know. My brother was super addicted to video games. I had divorced. My parents divorced when I was very young, and so a lot of like the discipline would just be in one ear out the other because I was just already basically on the way to my dad's house or my mom's house. So I just kind of like, I don't know. I never really got in trouble for playing video games, and they would just take it away when I was in trouble. That would suck.
I wasn't in trouble for actually playing the video games. I was in trouble because the correlation was that my school grades were dropping because I was playing too many video games.
Were you?
It wasn't that I went to therapy because I had that issue. It was because I was struggling in school, and then we ended up taking a test, and I found out, I need to be on medication to focus on my schoolwork. And then because I'm on
ADHD?
medication, they need to track your mental, I guess, what's going on in your head while you're on that medication. Bam, I'm in therapy, and then that's how that all began. And then I
Can
went
I
to
give you a-
college. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you a hard take really quick. I think ADHD medication. You know how they gave it to literally all of us?
Yeah.
I think that's gonna be our like lead paint or asbestos.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I think we're gonna
Why?
have so many fucking
Because
like
it's microdosing meth. Is that why you think that?
yes.
It's a pretty hard take, Lewis. On it's basically all it is too, which is crazy to think about. Just
Yeah.
altering meth around a little bit, and then boom, you have it.
What were you saying about
Very
college?
effective
Fish?
though. It's great.
I was going to say, yeah, since I was required to talk to a therapist while I was on the medication, I went to college. I couldn't exactly do that. I didn't have a car. I was very far from my home, so I couldn't go to the office or anything. For some reason, we didn't think of using like FaceTime or video calls or anything like that. But yeah, I just stopped going to the therapist, stopped taking medication, and I haven't been on since. And now I'm just 100% me, myself, and I.
That's
I
good.
remember the first time I ever went to therapy because I was super depressed after graduating, and like it got to the point where I was just like asleep constantly, and I couldn't figure out why, and I was super, super sad. And my mom was just like, "Hey, you should really go see a therapist about this, or whatever." And I'm like, that's probably all right. That's a pretty decent idea. You have some good ideas every once in a while, Mom. I think I'll follow through on this one. So I went to one. And I sat down in the chair, really not expecting to do much other than be like, I'm just always tired all the time, and I don't really feel very much.
Starts bawling immediately.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. She started talking to me, then she asked me, she's like, when's the last time you cried? And I was just like, I started talking like more and more about like all the things that like since graduating, like I got no direction, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm lost as could be. And I just start bawling, and I can't say anything anymore. And then after I'm done just, like, crying for maybe, like, 5 minutes straight, she just looks at me and she says, wow, that sounds really hard. And I just start laughing.
And I'm the only one laughing.
And I'm the only one laughing. And I just start laughing because I'm like, wow, that's really hard. That's the best you can give me? That sounds really hard.
I mean, did you continue going to therapy? Was it hard? I'm sure she wasn't wrong.
Oh, no, I felt great after that. And then she was just like, listen, you should probably you should go take a sleep study, and we're going to put you on some antidepressants and whatnot.
Did that help?
I don't know.
I've never been on antidepressants.
They just made it like... This is kind of... I don't like approaching this topic specifically, but... Nah, it's not worth it. It was... It had some side effects I wasn't exactly like entirely down with, and I was just like,
you don't want to talk
like
about
I was
it?
gaining weight or anything, but nah, not really. It's not worth it to get into. But like, I don't know. It wasn't necessarily like I couldn't live with them. It's just like this is really annoying. I don't want to deal with this. And when I went to the sleep study thing, which was the worst thing ever, by the way, sleep studies suck.
I've had a sleep study.
They suck so bad.
They put
wake
so
you
much
up
shit on you.
you have 400 400 just across your whole body.
And then they wake
head.
you up like
they
every
put
hour.
Gel on you. Every hour. Lucky you. They woke me up every 30 minutes.
What the fuck?
And let me sleep for 15. Dude, I was so tired when I got there, and by the time I left, I couldn't function as a human. I was just just wandering around the parking lot, and they're like, we'll get your results back to you, but from what I could tell, yeah, you look a little narcoleptic. I'm like, what does that even mean? They're like, we'll prescribe you some ADHD medication.
How do they wake you up?
Yeah.
Wake up!
He comes over with a bat and just slams it across my stomach. I'm like,
every time
like,
it's a
if
new
the adrenaline
shock.
can't keep you awake, yeah, they keep you on your toes. One time they threw a bucket of water on me. I was like, and then another time they hit me with a bat. And then third time they farted on me.
Oh, God.
But that guy said, oh, no, you can go back to sleep. That wasn't part of the test. It was not a fun night. And you had to spend the whole night there. It was not a good time.
Oh, no.
And I talked to the guy. I was just like, do you always, like, are you always, like, on this sleep schedule? He's like, oh, yeah. I sleep in the morning. I have blackout curtains. And I take a melatonin and I go home and I flip my sleep schedule. And I'm like, that sounds like it's awful. He's like, yeah, it sucks. He went back to the room. It's like, you can sleep now. I'm like, all right. I feel bad for doctors, man.
I know that the medication that was helping me focus, I think it was doing its job, but the only thing that I still struggle with today is that if I started to focus on another thing that wasn't schoolwork, I would just be as much into that as I should have been into the schoolwork. So yeah, it was helping me focus, but what I needed to work on was starting the actual work rather than, doing mindless things on the computer. Because then I'd be 100% dialed into that.
I mean, that's fair. It's meant to make you focus. They never say, oh, it's specifically designed to make you focus on school.
You know what it is, though? It gives you more motivation. It's funny because, like, XQC was he was talking about cleaning his room. And he gave this really cool analogy that it's not hard to get to 100%. It's hard to get from 0 to 1. And, like, start. And, like, actually start doing. Because once you start doing chores, like, once I start cleaning, I'm like, oh, fuck, I hate this. And then it's just done,
Mm-hmm. The whole idea of looking at it.
What?
Yeah, I guess for me, it's just the whole idea of looking at it. And then it's not even that much. Even something that's doing the dishes. The whole idea, I realize what scares me is that it's that one giant pot that is holding up all these smaller things in it. And then once you lift that pot and you, like, clean that one thing, it's just like, oh, it's just, like, a few bowls and some utensils.
Yeah.
I think it's just...
It's the
there's
0.
that one big thing that you look at, and that's what scares you from it.
Yeah, it's the 0 to 1 that was
fair.
always difficult. And then with my
dishes.
medication, when I was on medication,
Me too.
it was so easy
Hate dishes.
to start things.
Dishes are literally the worst chore ever, and they don't even take very long. It takes like
I have
maybe
a
2 minutes.
dishwasher.
I have a dishwasher
I
too,
do
but I
too,
feel
but
like I
I
don't
have
want
like
to use it all the
5
time.
dishes. I'm never gonna use the dishwasher. It's just a
That is
waste of
true.
water.
Yeah,
Well,
we live alone, Louis.
we have 4
okay,
roommates.
So, well,
I
When
have
when you
one
guys
Pyrex
have
cup,
roommates, you're gonna
Lewis.
want the dishwasher. Trust.
well,
I'm sure.
when I have roommates, Too Bold will wash the dishes for me.
Okay.
That's a funny.
We've
joke. I'm
already
not
we've
moving
already
to LA
agreed on
anymore.
this.
No, we have
Oh.
not.
Yes,
we made
have.
we made a deal with Ray, and I remember specifically Ray cooks and does the dishes. We go get the ingredients and do all the driving around. That's what it was.
Oh, yeah, I
and I
don't
was like,
mind-
shake on it. That's a fair trade.
Yeah. I don't mind making that trip to the grocery store if it means that we're gonna have food
Oh man,
every night.
I don't mind buying the ingredients. I don't mind traveling. I just don't want to clean the dishes, and I don't want to cook.
Oh,
I
it's
will
gonna
do
be so
everything else
nice.
towards it.
We're just gonna be nothing but we're just gonna be hardwired on stream, and we're just gonna make money, and it's all gonna come back, and then we're gonna spend more money on groceries, and then Ray is gonna make even more cooler foods because we're gonna have cooler groceries. Oh,
Ray's
Chicken
like, can you
extreme.
pick up dough pastry? And I'm gonna be like, what the fuck is a pastry?
chicken strips. We're gonna turn chicken breast into chicken strips.
Ray's gonna start telling me to like get things, and I'll be like, Ray, what the fuck is a rutabaga? Where do I find a rutabaga? Is it a spice? Garlic cloves? It comes in cloves?
I just remembered when I was in therapy, I always saw that I did not need it that much. As much as it did, I will admit it definitely was helping me, whether or not the medication was making me feel bad or not. Because, I wasn't just doing that well mentally in general. So I think it definitely did
Sure.
help just talking about stuff like that. But there was one time where I was about to have just a session of it usually lasts about an hour. And then about 5 minutes before I was about to walk into the office, this whole group of people walked in. It was these 2 kids that were around my age, and then a bunch of adults. And like, we need to talk to you about this right now. They like bursted in, no appointment, nothing. And then my doctor was just like, oh, okay, yeah, we can do that. I didn't even know the background about what it was. But it was just, at that moment, I was just thinking like, I guess I'm like not that
Important.
sees that no. It was just like
I'm pretty
it was
low
just
on the priority
my
list.
doctor clearly doesn't think that I need to have this session immediately right now. I mean, that was a pretty urgent emotional walk-in, but yeah,
That was a little selfish of that family.
a little bit.
I didn't even think that was allowed, honestly.
Yeah, no, they walked in.
Maybe those
He
kids
said-
were sociopaths.
He did say he wouldn't charge us for the session. That's to be expected. But yeah, I totally. He
Actually
asked.
charged you in full.
Oh my god, no, that'd be unacceptable. He
I mean,
asked
did
me,
you
like, is
did
it
you
cool?
get to talk to him that day, or did you have to just come in another day?
No, I didn't. I didn't mind skipping a week.
Whenever I've done
I never-
therapy, I never felt like, maybe it's just because when I was doing it, I didn't know how to talk to people. Maybe if I did it now, I can get more out of it. Because whenever I would go into therapy, I would just complain about my parents and my brother.
That's what
I didn't-
therapy literally is about, though.
Really? You just
That's
complain
the
about
whole
shit?
thing. That's
You gotta say-
exactly what it is.
Because right now, it's like, I'm sure you don't really feel comfortable talking about that type of shit with certain people, even close friends.
Like, what do you
The whole
mean?
Like,
Like stuff
I
that
don't know,
you
I don't know what's bugging you right now, but I feel like there's definitely things that could be reserved that you're might
bugging
not
me.
tell me. It's me.
Yeah, it's you.
Oh,
Perfect.
shit.
Let's talk about
No,
that.
dude,
Well,
I've always.
exactly.
I mean,
Podcast is a
I don't
therapy
have a
session.
problem. I've always told you, like, yo, you're. I don't know, like, if you've ever bugged
You're
me, I
harshing
don't.
my vibe.
Yeah.
It's
It's
just
usually
hard
when
for some
it's
people to
usually
talk
when it's
to-
4 a.m. and you're at my house drunk and you want to keep like play dating with me. I was like, I want to go to bed. Let me go to bed, Fish. No, just one more hour.
I will say, Fish makes you feel like the most important person on the
Yeah, he
planet when
does.
you decide to leave things. That's what he just puts all his focus on you. And
Wait,
he
you're leaving?
wants you to believe it. Yeah, he's just like, you can't leave. No, I love you.
I don't know what it is.
Every
It's-
single person, dude.
even when I'm tired, it's the whole idea of me being just so unsure about sleeping. It's that
I think you have a FOMO. You have like a big FOMO.
Well, no, I mean maybe that's also the case that I have
The hell
FOMO.
does that even
but in
mean?
the moment, fear of missing out. The whole idea is that I get nervous that everybody's gonna get in bed, and then I'm also gonna get in bed, and everybody's gonna fall asleep, and I'm just gonna be waiting there staring at the ceiling.
Oh yeah, I
And
get
I'm gonna
you.
be like, this fucking sucks. I hate this. We could have been having so much fun right now, but instead I'm looking at a fucking blank wall.
I don't
Well,
have
it's not a
problems
fear of missing
sleeping
out. It's
anywhere.
a fear of being bored in bed.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the opposite of FOMO.
Phobib.
What is that?
Phobib.
Fear, of busting in.
Fear of being bored in bed. Fear of being bored in bed. Phobib.
Phobib. I like that one. I'm having phobib. Next time, I'm going to say that to people who have no idea what that means.
I'm having phobib.
What the fuck
Do I
is
need
that?
to call someone?
Someone just takes out an EpiPen. Where do I stab you? No.
Have you heard that story of me and AJ?
Oh yeah.
So when
It's a good
AJ
one.
moved in,
Oh,
he
yeah.
he's allergic to a bunch of shit, and seeing like Pulp Fiction and stuff like that, he was like talking to us. He's like, "Hey guys, I'm allergic to a bunch of shit. If I'm having an allergic reaction, this is my EpiPen," and then I'm like, "I'll stop you right there." I take it and I just stab you in the chest, right? Like in Pulp Fiction, and he's like, "No, that'll kill me." I was like, whoa. And in my mind, if we had never had that conversation and I saw him having an allergic reaction, I would have killed him. Like, fully, I would have killed
Just
him.
a full shot of epinephrine into his right lung. Just instantly collapses.
I fully would have killed him. I didn't think that was the wrong way to use it.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting, isn't it? How you learn all that shit. Like, I took a class for a while to be CPR certified and first aid certified, and they're just like, yeah, you're gonna have to press down pretty hard on this, and you're probably gonna break ribs. I'm like, that sounds like it's the opposite.
Wait,
of how
what?
To help someone. Oh, yeah, when you're giving reparations.
wanna
for-
break their ribs.
Really?
You
want
push
him.
down really hard. There's a good chance you'll break the ribs. Yeah,
Ah! Don't
Yeah,
break
bro.
my ribs. Let me die.
it's not. It's not up to me. It's up to your bone structure. Have you had
Do
enough
not
milk?
resuscitate.
I love the fact that I wonder what it is if they have to like adhere to you having a tattoo that says "Do not resuscitate" across your like neck or something, or if it has to be on like a piece of paper.
I know that some people literally carry papers or like a little pamphlet, like a necklace, with their "Do not resuscitate."
Mm-hmm.
Like,
You think anyone's ever gone into a house where like someone was like unconscious state, had to be resuscitated, and they bring them back to life, and then they like look around and they just see like a thing on the wall that says "Do not resuscitate," and you're just like, ooh, is that bad? Can we be sued?
have
How
you
does
guys
that work?
ever-
Do you get
Wait,
sued
what?
for resuscitating someone? They're
Yeah,
back
big
from the
time.
grave, like, you
Yeah,
motherfucker.
Big
remember
time,
learning
dude.
about
Dude,
that
that's how
specifically.
a lot of people get become millionaires and shit. Like, if a doctor like does do not resuscitate, it's not like fucking House, dude. Like, if you bring back somebody that's like a do not resuscitate, they will sue the hospital for fucking everything.
Interesting.
Why did
So
you
do
say
they
it's not
just-
like House? What happened?
Because he does it all the time in the show.
Oh, okay.
Could you imagine someone's like, I didn't want to be resuscitated, and the doctor's like, shh, all right, fair enough. He died of a bullet wound to the forehead. He came in here because he had trouble breathing. Yeah, now he has trouble thinking.
I mean, I've gone multiple years ever since this happened, not having to use an EpiPen or not having an allergic reaction, thank God, knock on wood. But I still am flabbergasted by the fact that I went to the hospital twice because of an allergic reaction where my lungs were actually closing. And one, I had to get an EpiPen shot. That was the first time that I went to the hospital. The second time, they gave me a shot of Benadryl. And that's where I got really high in front of everybody that was there because of the shot of Benadryl. Mm-hmm. But the doctor still said, yeah, you don't need an EpiPen. Just stop eating whatever you're eating when you start to feel your mouth get itchy.
Oh, so you don't have it that bad.
It'd be like that.
Yeah, but
are you still allergic to peanut butter?
I don't know. I feel like
sometimes it goes away.
I told you I had Panda Express, and there was definitely some sort of nuts in the chicken bowl and all that. And
you didn't get anything?
I had half the bowl, and then I realized, I'm like, holy shit, these are nuts. And I was like, I started panicking a little bit, but then I realized my mouth isn't itchy. Yeah, so maybe I'm over it. I hope that would be very nice.
You should go get a scratch test.
Yeah, that whole scratch test sucked, man. I didn't even know, how do you even work with the information that you're given? So they put the stuff into my arm, and the next thing you know, my whole arm was broken out into hives. I'm like, I guess I'm allergic to everything, doc. He's like, no, don't worry, that's not what that means. I'm like, my arm is twice the size of my other arm right now. What do you mean? And I wanted to keep on scratching it.
My buddy, I guess my buddy, but my brother's friend, Thom, was allergic to so many fruits and vegetables. Like, basically all of them for the longest time. I don't know how he survived, but he was basically allergic to fruits and vegetables. Oh, God. And then, like, after he graduated high school, he's just like, fuck it. I haven't had a banana in God knows how long. Oh, no. I'm going to have a banana. And he ate a banana. And he's like, I should be breaking out into hives right now. Why haven't I broken out into hives? Give me that strawberry. He started eating all these different fruits.
Oh my God, like, why so quickly?
I can't. I'm not breaking out into hives. I'm not breaking out into hives. He just started eating a whole bunch of fruits. And he went and got a scratch test. Perfectly fine. Except now he was allergic to cats.
Oh no.
He's like, I gained so much, but at what cost? So now he just eats a whole bunch of fruits and vegetables every day because he hadn't had them in so long, but he can't go near his pet cat.
I always thought the situation with that, yeah, the whole deal with that whole type of situation, it is kind of the equivalent of being like, these edibles ain't shit, except it's the amount of food that you're putting into your body that you're allergic to, and then your lungs will suddenly react to it after a certain period of time. And by the whole idea that this guy was putting a bunch of different fruits in his mouth, it was just taking a while before he reacted, and then it would all hit him like an explosion, and his lungs would close immediately. I'd be terrified.
His whole head swells up like a grape.
I would wait at least an hour. If that was my first time testing out what I'm allergic to, yeah, I wouldn't do it one after another like that. That's scary.
I told you about the crazy kid that just said...
the Reese's.
Yeah, the Reese's. That was great.
Yeah.
I can't take it anymore. Bites into a Reese's, slams an EpiPen into his leg, and just goes...
What the fuck?
I need to know.
Yeah, there's a kid that was sitting at one of our lunch tables in school. I don't remember who the hell
that's
his name
traumatizing.
was. He basically just stood up and just said, "Fuck it, I need to know." And he took a bite of a Reese's, and he took out his EpiPen, popped it, and slammed it into his leg. And then he had to
in high school
to the hospital.
In high school or in college?
In high school. They carted him away.
What the fuck? Is
yeah, that kid was hardcore as fuck. He was
Did
fine.
he like it? Did he like the Reese's?
He's like, yeah, he's just like, I love peanut butter.
Oh no.
From what I could taste before I lost all feeling in my neck, it was pretty good.
Did I tell you guys what happened the first time I had the allergic reaction with the two school nurses that were there?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, how they gave me they gave me an EpiPen shot when they weren't allowed to do that because they were just school nurses.
You did tell me about this, yeah.
Yeah. And then the second time, I knew that they weren't supposed to do that because these people that were from a literal hospital that were trained nurses or when they came, they didn't give me an EpiPen shot. They just gave me the Benadryl. And that was when the firefighters were there, the security was there, management was there. Yeah, because apparently all those people have to be present when an ambulance rolls up to a building.
Yeah, also, apparently, when someone has that severe an allergic reaction, you give them an EpiPen shot, you have to immediately get them to the hospital.
Oh, yeah, that's where I went.
As well. Like, because apparently the EpiPen is not going to save your life. It will prolong your death, is, I believe, what it is. But you still have the allergic shit in your body. So
yeah, the doctor asked me if they give me Benadryl. I'm like, no, it's an EpiPen shot. He's like, are you sure? I was like, yeah, they told me that's what it was. He's like, oh, that's weird. I guess, I mean, it worked, so that's good. And then I forget what happened after that. Just imagine I blacked out. I'm just back. No, but I genuinely do forget what happened after that. But I know the doctor questioned me and was a little curious on why they gave me the EpiPen shot.
Yeah, I've never dealt with any of that. I don't have any allergies, no nothing.
I got the seasonal allergies.
I've had weird trips to the hospital though. I'll save like the hardest one for last. One time I was playing baseball and I landed I had to jump to catch a ball and I landed with my foot straight, like not bent. And you know how like you get impact, you kind of like have to bend your legs. Oh. So I landed with my foot like completely like straight. So and then I went to the hospital for that and they said I hyperextended my knee. Nice. What other ones? I was riding a bike, and this is like one of my earliest memories. Actually, I was like maybe 5 or 6 years old. I was riding a bike, cute. And it was one of the first days that my dad had took off the tricycle or like the whatever the
training wheels,
and the ice cream truck turned into my neighborhood. And I got really excited, and I fucking crashed everywhere, and like half of my face was like completely bloody.
Two-Face.
Nice. My dad had to. Nice. My dad was like holding me in our garage, and I was like, "Can I please get some ice cream?"
I thought that was gonna turn into you were lucky because they had the ice cream guy.
Yeah, he got me ice cream and then took me to the hospital.
Hey, that works out. They probably have like ice coolers in the ice cream van that you can just place on your face.
And then this was in high school. It was my freshman year. I woke up. I was just sleeping, and then I woke up screaming in the middle of the night. My dad, like freaking out, like just grabbed me, put me in the car, and took me to the hospital. And I found out that one of my nuts like twisted.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Oh, no.
Oh, what testicular torsion as a youth? Yeah. Oh, dude, no. Yeah. No.
And so they untwisted. I went directly into surgery. And then the hardest part of the recovery was the intubation. Like my throat feeling really shitty.
Oh,
I couldn't
dude,
eat anything.
That's so awful. Oh my god,
that's brutal. I can't imagine. Yeah, you meant that when you said you saved the best for last.
Dude, have you ever seen that TikTok of the guy that's like, what happens if guys, what happens to you if you like sit on it? And some guy's just sitting down. He's like, well, kind of like this, and then you hear a popping noise, and he goes, oh!
You go. Oh, I know exactly the video you're talking about.
Every time I watch that, I'm just like,
oh god.
Like secondhand pain of just hearing a balloon popping as he sits down.
Oh yeah.
Oh god, it gets me every single time, dude.
But yeah, those are the. Oh, I also I went to a baseball game and they have these like tennis balls. Like so when you're sitting and you want to get some Cracker Jacks, right? The people come like
so relatable.
Hot dog, Cracker Jacks, blah, 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 blah. You want some in their 1950s radio voice, and then you say, I want one. They throw a tennis ball at you that has a little slit. You put the money in, and then you throw it back. They get the money, and then they throw the Cracker Jacks at you, right?
Sounds very risky, but I'm all about it.
It is risky, but that's how it was. And when I saw that, I was like, I'm gonna go home and make one of those because I think that that's cool. So I got a tennis ball. I was in my stepbrother's room. I'll never forget this, and I just fucking I tried to stab the tennis ball, and I just went straight into my hand. And the scar is still there. I don't know if you can still see it.
It's so bright I can't see anything.
Just flashbanged us. It's okay.
Right.
Hold it there. Yeah, it'll
it?
focus. I think there's like a little
Looks
hole
like a
in there.
crease.
Yeah, right in the crease.
And the knife went like all the way down to like halfway through my hand.
Oh my
It
god.
went all the way in. And then I remember taking it out, and then I turned to my stepbrother. I was like, "Don't tell my dad." But I ended up needing like 12 stitches.
Man.
God damn. See, I've never once been to the hospital for anything. I've never broken a bone. I've been in some really weird accidents though, and each time I like forced myself to power through. The only one I remember so well was like I was playing out in one of the soccer fields in the back of like, I don't know, middle school or something, and it wasn't the most well taken care of, and they had like a patch that had like rocks or whatever, and I was trying to stop one of my friends, and I tripped and my face slammed into the rocks. Like the entire right side of my face just got all fucked up. It was just like it had scabs like all over it from all the cuts or whatever that was all across my face. And I remember being coming back to school at one point with like ice because my face started hurting. And I remember the girl I had a crush on came up to me. She's like, "Oh my god, are you okay? Do you need me to carry your books?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm just dying." She's just like, I would love it if you carried my books." It's a great one. I love that memory a lot. It was the best injury I ever had. I got to speak with her for like a full week. It was awesome.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, and then there was one time where I was in Pennsylvania and I was making baked chicken. Before I was ever using Gertie, I made nothing but baked chicken. And I wasn't paying attention, and I took the tray out and I lifted up too high, and I burned really fast, like part of my arm. I don't know if you can still, like, discoloration is still there somewhere, but I burned a part of it. And I remember thinking to myself, "Ow, boy, does this hurt. But if I drop this, I won't have food for this week." So I went, "Ah!" And I'm just screaming as I moved it over to the table. I was going, "Ah!" Dropped it on the table and then slammed my arm into the sink and just started spraying water all over it. Wasn't that? I think it healed pretty well. If I can't remember where the
I have
burn
a
mark
scar
is.
here.
I know it's there somewhere. Oh, there it is. Yeah. It's like it's not that bad.
I don't know.
But
if you
like
guys
any
can see
scar
this,
that I have is just really light.
the scar that I have in my eyebrow, right there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see it?
Mm-hmm.
I do.
I was playing Xbox in my dad's room, and we had
You threw the controller at a
no,
wall
we
and
had a
exploded
very
into
old
shrapnel.
ceiling fan. We had a very
Okay.
old
Oh.
ceiling fan,
That's not where I thought
and
that was going.
it literally fell. It made a noise. I looked up, and it was already halfway falling. Like it just hit me straight in the fucking thing.
Oh god.
Thankfully,
Was it
didn't
even
hurt
anything that you did that knocked it down? or
No,
was it
I was just sitting
over
there
time it
playing.
just
I
fell?
was playing.
That's so unlucky.
What was I playing? Xbox. I was playing Halo, the first one.
Dude, I remember the time I launched my brother into a bunch of cabinets. We were doing this thing where we were sitting on my parents' bed, and I would like lay on my back with like my feet up. My brother would like lie on top of my feet, and then I would launch him, and he would just go like across the room. We thought that was the funnest thing ever. He's like, "Okay, big one this time." I'm like, "All right, big one," and I launched him. I fucking catapulted this kid way past the pillows we had put down, and he's just
Oh no!
smashed into the cabinets. And then I remember he was just sitting there, all like, Skylar, are you okay? That was awesome." And he's just like, "Thank God it was awesome." Because it really hurt.
Fuck it. I remember this was like before I had memory, apparently, because I don't remember it. But my dad told me that one time I was playing in a bunk bed with one of his friends' like sons, and I did like a front flip off of it, or so I said, and landed in the corner of the room and like almost like broke my leg, but I didn't break my leg. He told me that for the next week, because I was walking with a limp because my leg had hurt, that I kept calling myself Yoda. I'm Yoda. Just walking around with a limp.
Do you guys remember the first moment you came online as a person?
Like no,
Like when I could
Do you
look
remember your
back.
first memory? Yeah, where you're just like consciousness.
no. I just remember a lot of different memories. I remember this one specific moment in preschool. Of
That's
me
early.
bringing a Game Boy to class to try the link cable with one of my friends, and it didn't work. That's what I remember.
One of my earliest memories is me getting beamed in the stomach by some older kid with a tennis ball. So we were playing wall ball.
Ooh, mine was a nightmare. I just remember mine. You go first.
We were playing wall ball, or we were trying to play wall ball, but there was a bunch of older kids that were using the wall, and they were just like, "Can we play with you? Can we play with you? Can we play with you?" And they're just like, "You're too young. You're gonna get hurt." And we're just like, "No, we won't get hurt. I promise. We're really good." And like, okay.
And they got hurt.
Yeah, we were playing, and then I remember running to the wall, and then this older kid who I thought was super cool, they was like, "I'm getting you out," and he just whipped the ball, and apparently he was going towards the wall, and I dove in front of it. And it just got smashed in the stomach.
Why?
Why? Because I didn't want it to hit the wall. Because if it didn't hit the wall,
I remember
and
wall
I
ball.
caught
Wall
the
ball's
ball,
fun.
yeah, I could get him out. And I thought he'll think I'm so cool if I stop the ball. And I just remember getting smacked in the stomach. I was like, bah!
We called it handball.
He whipped it at that wall, and I just took it like a bitch. I went down to the ground. I was like, ah! The kid went and found my mom. He was like, we were playing, and he jumped in front of the ball, and she's like, he's an idiot. Don't worry about it. He's fine.
What about you, Fish?
Mine isn't as physical. It's more like this was right before I was going to go to school, and I had this horrible nightmare at the time where it was I forget what the argument was about, but I was watching from like a camera in the corner of the room, and there was this small kid. It was a boy, and he was yelling at his dad, being like, "No, don't call the school, don't call the school." And the dad was calling the school about something academic related, being like, "You're in trouble. I need to talk to your teacher about this. I need to make sure that this information is accurate." And the boy is saying, "No, this is not true. Please don't do this." So what he does is that the dad goes for the phone and then starts dialing the number, and the kid, who's a lot smaller than him, tries to reach for the phone, but he can't, so he needs to get height. So he walks on top of the table, and then my POV of the dream sees the bottom of the table, and it's all wobbly. And then I'm like, oh god, the table's gonna fall over, and he's gonna fall over and get hurt. But instead of that just happening, the kid falls over, and there's this other metal table in front of him, and then the most horrific thing happens for a little kid to be having this dream. I think it was maybe in first, second grade, maybe. The kid falls over and he just gets decapitated, literally. And the father is just screaming. The kid's headless body is running around the room. And the next thing you know, my dream POV is from the floor, and then the kid's head just rolls, lifeless eyes, rolls right in front of the camera, and then it's like I'm looking straight at the head, just in the face. And I woke up, and I'm like, "Mom, I can't go to school today. I don't know what the fuck was going on in my head. This is not okay. This is the worst dream that I've ever had. The fact that I can still remember it. Also, it was in black and white, and it's not like there was blood gushing everywhere. I guess I wasn't that imaginative about it or that descriptive, but I just remember it was the black and white made it so much scarier. And I was just so terrified. I was crying that morning. I was like, "Mom, I don't want to go to school. I don't want to leave. Something bad is going to happen to me. We can't get in the car. I can't get in the subway."
Did you end up going to school?
My mom was just like, "Don't worry. It was just a dream. It doesn't mean anything. You're going to go to school." And luckily, the thing that saved me, that this is the conscious part of me being there, was that I was explaining it to my friends, and they started laughing. They're like, "That's hilarious." And I'm like, "You know what? That is a pretty fucking
funny.
dumb story or a dumb dream to be terrified of." Just explaining it to the boys, and they're just like, "Yeah, dude, that's funny."
Explaining a nightmare is the hardest part of getting people to understand your terror, because it makes no fucking sense when you're saying it. The one I remember the most vividly was just being in an all black abyss, and there's just a door in front of me, and I open it up, and there's the faceless mask thing from Spirited Away,
Sure.
the mask dude. It's kind of like that. So imagine a demon mask, right? Or one of those Oni things.
Oni? Yeah.
And it was just staring at me, and I was like, "Oh, that's not good." And I shut the door. And I opened the door again, and then it had 2 heads, and they were both the Oni masks, and they were staring at me like, whoa, that's really not good. And I closed the door. And then I open it back up again, and there's 3, and then they jump me, and I go, ah! And I wake up. Yeah, I was like an idiot. I just keep opening the door, and it keeps getting worse. And then it gets me, and I wake up, and I was just like, that was the most terrifying dream ever. But explaining it to anyone, it sounds like the stupidest dream ever dreamt by a human. It's like, what? Just shut the door. I'm like, yeah, but it wasn't an option.
I don't know what it is.
The only
It's like
option was to open that door again.
There's that conscious thing in your mind that knows that you're not supposed to do this, and then it does exactly that. Because you know it's scary what the outcome is of this.
Most terrifying dreams I have nowadays are when I'm sleeping, and then I get canceled for saying an unbelievable amount of slurs.
Yeah.
Like I wake up and I'm just like, I
Never
do
had
not
that
want
one.
to do that.
Yeah,
What the?
dude,
I'm not
those
racist.
Those are like stress dreams. Yeah. Okay, I was just searching deep within my mind. I think the first memory I have is when my parents were still together, and I made my first goal in roller hockey. I must have been like 2.5.
In roller hockey,
Something
you could
like that.
balance on them.
Yeah.
Damn, son, impressive.
Something like that? I'm not sure. It was like a fucking, like, my parents were still together. I might have been 3. Maybe?
Anyway, you scored a goal.
It was the only goal I ever scored because my dad said I usually just, like, skated and fell everywhere.
The goal
So
involved
cute.
you kicking it while you were falling over. Didn't even mean
Or
to.
something like that. But he said I was really happy or something like that. And then I remember when my parents got divorced and they didn't want to see each other, so they would drop me off at, man, the lady's name escapes me. But, and there was a bunch of other kids there too. And then my dad would drop me off, my mom would pick me up, my mom would drop me off, my dad would pick me up. I remember that. And then I remember discussing with a girl there that, like, when I have to pee, my pee-pee gets bigger. I didn't know what boners were. Nobody knew.
I remember the first time I talked about that openly with someone, talking about what a boner was, and I was just so confused, and I had to explain to me, and I was like, yeah, I hate it. Sometimes I want to, like, sometimes if I want to sit down or anything or stand up, it's so bad. It's just there. Why does this happen to me? And I'll be like to the girl, do you get that? And they're like, what? No, that never happened.
Yeah, I don't know. Those are the earliest memories I can remember. I also remember one time getting lost in Disney World. And then I went to somebody that was like checking people's height for a ride, and I was like, I'm lost. And then she took me to the main offices of Disney, and then they called me out they called Louis Martinet's parents through the whole fucking what's it called?
Intercom?
Park.
Intercom?
Yeah, that was crazy. And then my dad was very proud of me, but also mad at me for getting lost in the first place. It's overwhelming when you're that small and all you see is knees.
Yeah. I remember getting lost a couple times. My favorite one was I got lost in a Toys R Us. I could not find my mom. I don't know where the hell she went. But I was like, I gotta go faster. So I took a bike off the rack and I started riding it around Toys R Us, be like, Mom! Mom! And eventually I brought it back and I put it back on the rack, and then I just went out to some lady behind a counter and I was just like, I can't find my mom. I tried really hard. She had disappeared. That's probably a good one. And of course, I thought I gotten better about not getting lost, but then I got lost in China in a sea of people. That was great. Not a damn one of them spoke English. Thank God for cell phones. I would have died in China. I never would have found my way out of the Terracotta Warrior Museum.
How old are you?
Dude, there are so many. That was when I was sophomore year of high school, dude.
You went to China in sophomore year of high school?
For 2 weeks. I went all over China.
You're a fucking baby.
Yeah, I know Tubold has talked about being on the Great Wall.
Yeah, I puked on it. I puked on
I don't
two
remember
wonders of
that
the world, believe it or not. Mm-hmm.
Which one's the other one?
Empire State Building.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I just puked on it. You should go for
I
all
want to
7.
go for all of them. I know,
Yeah.
I really do.
You
I
should
I
make
need
a
to
travel
figure out how
vlog.
to puke into a into some of the flowers of Babylon, the Hanging Gardens. Just like go up to like a potted plant, just kill an entire row of flowers.
Oh God.
What's the other one? I gotta somehow make my way to the Sphinx and puke on it.
So you have the Petra. You have Machu Picchu. You have Christ the Redeemer. That one's in.
I have to puke on
Peru.
God.
Brazil?
Yeah. You have to
Damn.
puke on the Colosseum and the Taj Mahal. Oh, these are the new 7 wonders of the world.
How new is that updated from?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh,
What
there's
Petra
only
is. What's
one
Petra?
wonder of the world that still exists from the ancient ones.
Is the Colossus of Rhodes not a wonder of the world? I feel like it should be.
Yeah, the Colossus of Rhodes is an old one. The Lighthouse of Alexandria, the statue of Zeus, that's gone. The Temple of Artemis is gone. The Great Pyramid of Giza is the only one that still exists.
Okay. Makes
Not
sense.
cool.
Okay, so I gotta make it at Giza.
Well, that's for the
I
old
don't
one.
really want to go. I don't really want to go to Egypt.
You can do the Taj Mahal, the Colosseum, Christ the Redeemer, Machu Picchu, Petra.
Where's
Chick-
Petra? Where's that?
What is Petra? Let's see.
I've never heard of that one.
Fill her up. with
Oh, if you saw it, it's
petroleum.
cool. It's like a fucking temple in the side of a mountain. It's fucking sick.
That one. Yeah. Yeah, all right. I'll puke on that.
Yeah, I think I'd puke on
Yeah, I
that.
could swing it. Are the Hanging Gardens of Babylon not a wonder of the world anymore?
I don't
I
think
always
that
thought
was.
they were.
I think that was the hanging garden of Babylon was a story.
I thought it was a wonder.
It was never real. I'm
Really?
almost positive.
Oh. I could have swore it was real. I definitely thought it was a wonder of the world. Well, maybe I'm insane. I don't know. I do have one place on my bucket list, though. I want to go to the salt flats of Bolivia during the rainy season. Stand on the sky. That's what I want to do. Because during the rainy season, the salt flats are so
Oh,
flat
yeah, it's
and
like a
so
mirror.
reflective. It turns the whole world into like
And
one giant mirror.
It spawned an infinite amount of anime openings.
Probably. It's so pretty. I want to do that. I want to take a picture of me standing on the sky. I think it'd be pretty cool.
My mom
And
has
that's
a
like
picture.
the only thing on my bucket list.
My mom has a picture of it's my favorite photo of her of all time is her on, I don't think it's the same one, but it's just this giant field. I think it was salt. It's just either way, the ground was all white. She sent me this a few years ago. And she's just posted up as if it's like for a rap album. She's not even smiling, but she's posted up like both knees are bent on the ground. One of the arms is even like
Is she
hanging over on
squatting?
herself.
Slob
Yeah,
squatting?
basically.
Is it black and white and does it have the parental
No,
advisory
it's with
sticker just
color.
at the bottom?
I should make that edit. If she gives me permission, I will make that edit and I will show
Let's
it to
do it.
the
Just do it with our
masses.
permission. Give it to her for Christmas.
Oh yeah.
Genuinely, that has been one of my like favorite things. Is just finding insane pictures that people would make black and white, but parental advisory on. Like one of them is an old man falling into a pool. Just black and white parental
falling into a
advisory. Like that is a good ass album cover right there. Another is some dude doing like a kickflip in like a crowd of people, and then like some dude is drowning in a pool, and I'm just like, that's a good one as well. That's a pool needs to be involved in all of these, and someone needs to be dying. That's how you get a good album cover. Then there was
Wait.
one of like a gorilla poacher, or not gorilla poacher, gorilla like guard from poachers, that had these two gorillas in the background that both just stood like straight back, just looking like this. Like both gorillas were just like this, and the poacher, the guard was just like just taking a picture and like staring at the camera, like he couldn't believe the gorillas actually just like posted up back to back, and it was just like, that's a really hard picture right there. That's real. That goes real hard.
This picture is raw as hell. Louis, what is the
think it's so
thought
good,
process on making an album art cover? throughout your experience in the music industry?
I've never.
What have you seen?
As far as like singles, it's whatever the song calls for. It's not that hard. As for album branding, I'm actually coming up with a couple ideas that I'm pretty excited about, but I want to run it.
Did that animation you ever commission go through?
No.
This is the saddest day of my life.
But I'm gonna do more animation
This is the
stuff.
saddest day of Fish's life.
I'm gonna give more depth to the Smile brand. I'm very excited.
More depth.
More depth.
You're gonna make it a whole face?
No.
So it's just
Add a
2 eyes and a
nose,
smiley mouth?
eyebrows.
Just a,
No nose.
it's just,
It doesn't
Just
breathe.
a potato head. Start adding stuff to it.
It doesn't breathe. It just smiles.
It's
Maybe
actually
do
scary.
like
I'm gonna turn it into a horror movie like franchise.
Isn't there
Smile
already?
pictures.
Isn't there already something like that? Smiley. Oh yeah, it was that horror movie with the YouTube people.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
But
should do
I'm
that.
just
Except
it's Smile
YouTube
Pictures. And we're gonna make a bunch of horror films.
Can I be the guy that dies first? So I'm not asking to take like a big part of the movie, but I'm
Yeah,
asking
just-
to make an appearance. You know,
Yeah, of course.
I'll make a dumb decision. Guys, let's.
Can I be a
split
guy?
I'm gonna go that way.
Like-
There's a noise over there.
Guys,
Can I be a
shut
guy
up.
in a
Ghosts
supermarket?
aren't real.
Can I be a guy in a supermarket where they're like getting supplies ready, and I'm just like chewing on some gum at like the cash register, and I'm just like, it's a lot of rope. And then they just stare at me, and then it cuts away. Wasn't Critical in a horror movie of some sort?
No, he was
I wanna
in.
watch that movie.
He was in. Well, I think maybe, but he was also in Hunger Games.
It wasn't Hunger Games.
Was he really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. He was Katniss Everdeen.
Yeah, he was Katniss Everdeen.
What a role to play. What a breakout role.
It's crazy based on the story that he gave, but from his description of it, he was trying to move from where he was supposed to be posted up so that more of his body and more of his face would show up in the camera. But then what ended up happening is that he got replaced by somebody because of his actions, like because he was trying to be kind of I don't want to say
rewatch that video.
obnoxious, but he was describing it that he was kind of going out of his way to show up on camera, and then he got replaced by somebody else because of it.
Yeah,
And it's just it's so cool to think about, like, yeah, it's these people working under a job, like under a script and everything, but you could really kind of make yourself appear in a movie, I guess, if you kind of slither your way into that.
My brother had a friend that was in what was the movie with Rock and Kevin Hart where The Rock plays like a
Something Intelligence?
a cop. And there's the gym scene where The Rock is really fat
Central
or whatever.
Intelligence.
Yeah, or The Rock is like really fat. And he's in the background holding up a sign just going fucking nuts. And he's just like, there I am. Just
Me.
He got to be an extra in that movie, so that was pretty funny. You guys ever see the clip of like the one extra in Avengers Endgame where like people are running away in the seats? Like a lot of them are just kind of like jogging around, like running away, and you just have some woman that is absolutely fucking
crushing it.
sprinting. She's just running with all of her might. She doesn't even look in any direction. She's just gone.
I've
and
never
then, like
seen
that's
that.
a real survivor right there.
I've never seen that.
In the new Doctor Strange
It's so
movie,
good.
there's a scene of a guy running away from the same point A to point B
Yeah.
in 4 scenes in a row.
Yeah, Sam Raimi does that a lot though.
Oh, that's on purpose?
Yeah,
Why?
he just does stuff like that.
I thought that guy
He
was
just
very
enjoys
good
it.
at being in that shot. He wasn't supposed to be there.
Dude, that was so good. Go back there and do it again.
You stole the show with this performance.
That's funny.
I think there's a rule in movies too where like if you have a stunt double and they get injured during one of the scenes, you have to use that scene that he was injured in, which I think is pretty great, especially if like his arm explodes because of it.
Jesus.
And you're just like, okay, well, we need to edit that out.
You think that's why the stormtrooper thing of them knocking their heads on the doorway?
Oh yeah,
Have
those
you
guys
seen
are all horrendously concussed. They're never able to. They're able to read
that's
properly.
Have you seen
though.
that?
Their eyes
Yeah,
are constantly
yeah.
focused. Donk. I just like to think that no one noticed, and that's how it got in there. They're just like, yeah.
it? It's audible. You can literally hear it.
I didn't know you could hear it. I just know you can. It's very visible.
You can hear it.
It's so good.
That's what it sounds like.
I hated taking a cinema class and then pointing out a whole bunch of like sound effects that are commonly used in movies because now I can't unhear them.
Yeah.
Like as soon as someone points out the Wilhelm scream to you, you hear it everywhere.
Yeah.
Absolutely everywhere, and it's infuriating.
Yeah, it's a classic.
Oh, I hate them for doing that to me. Hate it.
What's another one? I feel like there's a cop sound effect.
Cinema classes will ruin movies for you.
Yeah.
Like horrendously. Like I had long since got past the
But
point
it'll
where I
also
could
make
like
you
predict.
appreciate really fucking awesome movies.
I don't think enough when I watch movies to appreciate them to the depth that I need to be like in a cinema class. You know what I mean? Like I turn my brain off because I like enjoying the movie. I don't like thinking about it.
What is going through your head then?
Boy, this is a cool ass movie. I really like that explosion, Mr. Michael Bay.
Why?
Dude, okay. Example of me appreciating film way more because of film class was Psycho, like 1960 black and white.
Yeah,
it was the famous scene where it's the girl in the shower like screaming, and there's the dun 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 dun. They literally kill off the main character halfway through the film, and they go down some other path. And because of all the stuff that we talked about a little bit beforehand and after, I was like, that movie's a good movie. I love that. And it's like so slow. It has the effects of 1960s cinematography and all that. And like even with that cheesy scene that I've already seen beforehand a million times. I like that movie. Because
Dude, I've gotten to the point where like I can generally predict like how every movie's gonna go. Like I assume most people that have lived their entire lives consistently watching movies can, where you're just like what's gonna happen next. Dude, I watched this show called Iron-Blooded Orphans, and it's one of the few anime I've ever watched that's been genuinely good. And I actually tweeted about it because it left me just so gut wrenched. It's about all these child soldiers that take up Gundams so that they can survive in a mercenary group. And
of course.
There are so many times where you think it's going to be a happy ending and it's going to be the end of the season, and then they just make the most tragic thing happen, and you're like, what
is it called?
Iron-Blooded Orphans.
It's called My Hero Academia, Louis.
No,
Yeah.
see, that's why I stopped watching Demon Slayer or whatever, because I watched the first 5 minutes of it and I can tell you how it's going to end.
Yeah, but it's not... Dude, watch Demon Slayer just for the fights.
Scenes are
oh my
so
god,
good.
they're so pretty. They're so fucking
whatever.
There's people
Holy shit,
screaming
they're
and
so
dancing
good.
and
whatever.
fire
There's a lot of good
and
fight
water.
scenes.
So good.
It's not like One
so
Punch
good.
Man. The one fight scene against Genos.
There's a guy who has 3
No, that's
wives.
legitimately like that. Like, straight up. In the most recent season, them fighting the big bad, holy shit. They dumped all of the animation budget into that fight, and it is so good. It is so good.
It's multiple episodes of high
Yeah,
budget. I didn't think that was possible
so
in anime.
Good. Like, they go for one fight, and you're like, okay, it's over. And then there's just another one appears. You're like, what? They can't fight on. They have no blood left. And then they just keep fighting. And then get progressively less and less body parts. You're like, dude, you're the main character. You can't keep losing those. It's great, man.
They all anime characters
really
blood
good.
dope before an episode.
Where does My Hero Academia go now? Has it even come back yet?
It's not back.
You can read the manga.
So it ended on that fucking Magician's arc?
Magicians are no. There's a little bit after.
You get to the My Villain Academia arc where it just
so
goes
bad.
to all the
So
villains.
cringy.
Hey,
Louis, it's meant for kids, all right? Just enjoy the animation. Jesus Christ.
Louis, I
will.
know you want it to be focused on Deku, but sometimes other characters with the vast
I
cast
don't
that they
fucking
have
like
need
Deku
some
as a
screen
fucking
time.
character.
I think Deku's shit. I hate him. I hate his ass. I hate
He
him
cries
so
all
much.
the time. Oh yeah, I remember.
yeah,
Okay,
he's a
My
bitch.
Hero.
I hate
My Hero
him.
was one of the first shows that I had ever been introduced to anime-wise, and I'm like, what are some aspects of anime that I should know about before going into this? My friend Steve goes, "All right, so this is Deku. One thing you got to know about him is that he's super manly and he never cries." And I was so confused after the first 2 episodes. I'm like, is there something that I'm missing here about anime? Is this show for me? For those of you that don't know anything about My Hero Academia, Deku is crying like every 5 seconds. And he's just so emotional about everything.
He gets his ass beat by himself over and over again. He's got
romantic
protagonist
and he
mental
never
powers where he
cries.
just finds a solution out of his ass. It's great. Every shonen character on the planet does it. Naruto's great though. That's why I love Naruto. They spend so much time developing jutsu and all these different techniques, and then they just always default back to Rasengan and punch the shit out of him no jutsu, where you just get enough fists into someone's mouth.
The best jutsu in Naruto is talk no jutsu.
Yeah,
Naruto just talks
thing.
them out of being bad.
Yeah, but that doesn't work on Madara, who kills an entire army by himself, which is still one of the greatest
that one's
one
sick.
verse army
The Akatsuki.
animation sequences ever. And the Akatsuki fights
Akatsuki.
Akatsuki fights
Akatsuki.
are pretty great. Dude, do you want to be wrong? Like, I'm trying to
It's
save
Akatsuki.
you. It's
right.
Akatsuki.
Whoever's listening, comment section. Who's right?
Fish
Me or
Tank.
Too
Oh
Bold?
yeah, hashtag Fish Tank Pod. 2 questions that we could ask: who is right, Too Bold or Louis? And also, what is the first state of consciousness that you remember from your life?
Yeah, I'd
What
love
was
to
the
hear it.
first memory that unlocked you as a human? Where you stopped the tutorial and woke up and were just like,
I have control of these limbs or this mind or whatever you have.
I think, what's his name? The reason I asked that was because I remembered not C.S. Lewis. What was his name? Fucking the dude that got canceled for jerking it in front of people. What was his name?
Oh, God.
Pee Wee Herman.
No. Did he do that?
Yeah.
That's hilarious. But
Coney 2012?
No, not him. I'm talking about the comedian that was
Louis
really
CK?
big for a while.
Yeah.
Louis C.K. That's the one. He talked about how his first memory of him being a person was shitting himself in front of his house, and how it was so painful while he was shitting himself that he became a person for the first time. And that single story made me laugh harder than so many other comedians' entire sets. That scene was oh my god, it's so fucking funny. It's a shame about him as being a fucking freak, but that's a life. I don't think anything's gonna beat that. Because in my head, I just imagine a little kid, red face, just going, just breathing really hard, waddling around with shit in your pants, taking everything in for the first time.
That's an eye opener. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, there you go, chat. Was there viewers?
Chat.
Scott?
Unbelievable.
Dude, I'm so
Unbelievable.
tired. My eyes have not even
Viewers.
been past full open. Viewers,
Well, thank you.
thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for listening
And
to another
remember,
episode of the Fish Tank.
It's Akatsuki and the
Akatsuki.
first memory. Akatsuki and
It's
the
the
first
Aki
memory you
way.
had.
The
I want a
Aki
bacon, egg,
way.
and cheese the Aki way.
I want a bacon,
Salt,
egg, and
pepper,
cheese
ketchup.
on a honey bun mixed with vape juice. The Aki way. No problem. I forgot how you said
I grew up never hearing the Aki way. I'm gonna be honest. That was something that I learned from the internet.
It's not. No, it's the dude's name is Aki.
Okay, but yeah, people associate it with New York. I think a lot of the time.
because he's from New York now.
Yeah, but I never. But they're just like everybody knows the Aki way. I'm like, no, that's not true. I had never heard the Aki way. Yeah.
On TikTok.
Yeah.
All right.
I thank you for listening to
going.
another episode of the Fish Tank Podcast. We appreciate your support as always. Thank you so much. We will talk to you guys next week. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Akatsuki.
Akatsuki.
Way. Bye.
Lewis.